Some announcements about U.S. Indian boarding school history were made by the Department of Interior this week, and here they are. There were partnerships that were formed by the U.S. Library of Congress and the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History. The aim is to preserve survivor stories and educate the public about the federal Indian boarding school system and its impacts on Indigenous communities. If you have been following me for a while, many of my videos have been covering the history as well as my personal connection to U.S. Indian boarding school history. My grandmother was a survivor. Multiple of my family members attended. Indian boarding school history affects every single Indigenous person in the United States. My father has worked in repatriation for our tribe for over 40 years, and more momentum has been built up to repatriate and educate the public about this history than has ever happened in his entire career. My father's name is Bob Sam. I have been introducing you to his work and amplifying his goals. Folks can find my previous posts about it on my profile. I'm also working on moving all of my content over to YouTube. The Federal Indian Boarding School Initiative was launched in 2021, specifically to address intergenerational trauma caused by the federal Indian boarding school policies. The initiative includes an oral history project to document first-person narratives from survivors, and the agreements with the Library of Congress seeks to establish a collection of oral histories related to the boarding schools, and the National Museum of American History aims to develop exhibitions and educational resources in collaboration with tribal communities. This move is historic and will protect the work that has already been completed. The final volume of the Department of Interior investigative report released earlier this year, and the key recommendation is to share the history of the federal Indian boarding schools with both national and global audiences, which is what I have been aiming to do here. The next step in researching Indian boarding school history on a federal level comes in the form of the U.S. Truth and Healing Commission legislation, which is Bill H.R. 7227 and S. 1723. They are currently being considered by Congress, and I have actions that folks can take to urge Congress to pass this legislation. It is critical that this continue. So much is happening right now that we cannot lose momentum. I will be continuing to share this information with my audience. Please find me on all of the other platforms. They're all linked in the place. Please amplify this video, amplify other creators that are talking about this history. It is crucial that everyone know.